Welcome. You're listening to The Radke Show with David and Melissa Radke. Welcome to The Radke Show podcast. I'm Melissa. This is David. And if you are watching this or listening to this on the day that it comes out, I'm not here. I'm out of town. I'm out of town. We recorded this ahead of time. I am out of town. So now we are in the present as we film, but I'm going to ask you something. David, I've been out of town for a couple of days, actually. I don't even come back in town until tomorrow. You've been without me for like 5 days. How are you doing?
I miss you.
Oh, I thought you were going to give... He's so sweet. I thought you were going to give a sarcastic comment.
Oh, you're saying Tuesday, so you're gone for a few days.
Yeah.
If you asked me how I felt on Saturday, that might be a little different, but.
Because Saturday's his favorite day of the week because it's college football day and he doesn't like to be interrupted. How are you going to feel on Saturday? You're going to feel good.
Oh, I like it. Unless Rocco's in my way.
Oh, okay. But you miss me?
Absolutely.
I miss you. I miss you too, baby. But I really miss Shepherd.
That hurts a little bit because I know what you're saying is I miss him more than you.
Absolutely not. But what have you eaten? What have you eaten while I've been gone? Have you cooked?
Well, no, I've done a lot of like protein shakes at lunch because I'm not real hungry at lunch anyway.
Right.
And then Rocco and I went to Subway once because we know you're not as big a fan of sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and Rocco took Mom out one night.
Okay.
So yeah, been a good time.
Okay. This will all happen. Like I'm telling you, this will all, he already knows what it's going to be like. I miss you too. I just wanted to tell you that from the future into the past. All right. Hey guys, we're going
to have safe travels tomorrow.
Thanks. I will. And also side note, I really hate coming home to a dirty house. I cannot stand that. So
sounds like a Janie issue.
Poor Janie.
Hey, before we dive into today's episode, we appreciate you watching or listening to the Radke Show podcast. Would you please do us a favor wherever you watch, wherever you listen, will you make sure you subscribe so you never miss anything? And would you also leave us a 5-star review? That really helps us. We really appreciate it. And even clicking 5 is great, but if you even want to write a couple of words and say, David is so amazing. It's astounding how he can put up with her.
Dave, I got in the car the other day and I went on podcasts, went to Apple Podcasts, and I went to the search button and I just typed in marriage shows, and several of them, like lots, came up, and it was they always have a husband and wife together in the picture, and it's always like this.
Or then there's the corny ones like this. Like this is a bed sheet. Okay.
I already know what you're going to do. Exactly.
And hey, if you were on one of those podcasts, we love you.
Well,
if you like those,
it doesn't show us on the Radke Show. There's not a picture of us. So I wonder if people even know that this is a marriage, and family. And I wouldn't say we're just married. I mean, we talk about our kids a lot. We talk about money. We talk about all things, that happens in the home.
And we talk a fair amount about clubbing. So
unless you mean a club foot, that's about as clubbing as we go. But I'm just saying.
No, like when we go to the club.
I know what you meant. And I'm saying a club foot is closer than us going to a club.
No, I'm talking about.
I'm going to kill you right now.
I'm talking about Crim Colony too.
David, listen. I listened. I started probably like 6 different episodes for 6 different shows. I think we're doing it wrong.
What are we?
They're all like, they're all like, hi, and welcome to episode 7 of Don't You Wish This Was Your Marriage? Today we're talking about
sweaty balls.
But you and I aren't that way. Like, we actually are discussing something marriage related today, but you and I are so much more conversational. And either that is really great or really bad. We're either acing this thing or we're failing it. I don't know which.
Well, first of all, I think it is better to be the standalone, the category of one
Mm-hmm.
that we may or may not be there. I'm sure there's some other great podcasts out there that we would even enjoy listening to. I think it's better to do that than just fall into a niche because you think that's what you should do, or you think that's what people want. I think people are drawn to you primarily. I mean, beyond this show with your books and speaking and viral videos and everything, because you're authentic.
Yeah. And I was, as I was listening to them, I was thinking, good on y'all for doing this. I couldn't. I like to just chat.
And I'm sorry. And let me put an asterisk. I don't want that to be heard. We didn't talk about anybody you listen to, but I don't want that to be heard as we're saying someone isn't authentic.
Gosh, no. Lord.
People are different. But if we were different,
right,
it wouldn't be authentic to us.
Right.
Because, I mean, we're rounded people.
Boy,
sometimes
I'm pretty much a circle.
Sometimes we're funny. Sometimes we're, passionate. Sometimes we're frustrated. Sometimes we're, talking about our fate. I mean, so it just, we show all those different elements.
Yeah.
And that's just what works for us.
Well,
hopefully it works for you.
On that note today of talking, we're going to do something a little bit different today. I kind of want to dive deep today. I kind of want to go there, so to speak. Today we're talking.
I had known that before I said sweaty balls.
No, it's okay. I swear, even when David and I try to have conversations, serious ones, we make each other laugh. And that's the best part of our marriage. But we are talking about a topic today that we both know all too well. You've had to use this on me. I've had to use this on you. And it is the topic of forgiveness.
I thought you were about to say a belt.
What?
You've had to use this on me. I've had to use it.
Hey, for those of you who are listening and like, that makes me uncomfortable. Me too. I don't know what the heck he's talking about.
I just make junk up.
But, when David and I, you have to understand as we approach the subject of forgiveness, that we are not theological experts in it or psychological experts in it, but we are real life, real marriage experts in this. David and I have had to forgive every single day for 31 years. Do that math. 365 days a year times 31. I know you are.
Cheat on that one.
But I'm being serious. As he's doing that, you have to understand.
11,315 times.
We have forgiven 11,315 times. Because what we have learned in our marriage is that everyday forgiveness, little forgiveness here and there, is strength training for the big moments. If you can have grace in your everyday, you are prepared for when the bottom falls out. What you know about that?
What you know about that? I think it's an amazing point that you have to, that saying, crawl, walk, run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you have to start with these little things. Mm-hmm. So you kind of get your rhythm and you understand. So when something's a little bit bigger, you can handle it. And then even crazy significant, you at least have some structure that you know how to deal with it. And let me say this, a lot of it can be in communication. Mm-hmm. Because, and we've got better about this over the years, but, maybe in year 5, I would have said something sarcastic, meant absolutely nothing by it, just thought I saw something funny and it was teed up. And so I said it, meant nothing by it and went on. But then maybe 2 weeks later, you would bring up going, when you said that, that kind of hurt my feelings. It never would have crossed my mind again. Mm-hmm. And never even thought that I hurt your feelings because, she knows I was just being stupid and joking or whatever. But so also sharing, not in a way of, you owe me an apology, but sharing in just that manner of going, hey, that kind of hurt me. So you can cue somebody.
Right.
You might want to give an apology. You're not telling them to, you're not telling them what to say, but especially men, and I think women are the same. Sometimes we just need breadcrumbs. We just need some cues because we can be oblivious on some of the things. And most of those I'm talking about are smaller.
When I think about when we were first married, it's hard for me to really even remember some of the fights that we had, but they were significant. That I remember. Throwing a burning candle across the room, taking a flat-edged, sharp-edged cookie sheet and tossing it as it went across the room at his neck.
Yeah, these weren't us. These were
me. I remember those days. I don't even remember what the fights were about.
Now, in fairness, or along that time, I didn't throw anything at you, but I did put my foot through a wall that I had.
Yeah, you did.
That I had. I think my dad might have helped me patch it, or did I patch it?
You patched it up in our very first apartment, and you would have never let your dad help you patch it up because you were embarrassed and mad at yourself. But you lost our temper with each other that much. And yet, what were the arguments even about? We don't even remember, right? But here's what they were. They were preparing us for the big events. And in 31 years, if you don't think there's been big events, there are. That said, I want to talk about something that you were just touching on. And I want to give a real life example. Okay. So David is saying that as long as you're communicating, then not only do you have the option to forgive, but you're letting your spouse know what I'm going to give you, what has bothered you, so to speak. I'm going to give you an example of that. 2 Sunday nights ago, we had our very best friends over and we played a game. And it was me and David, our 2 best friends, their son and our son. And we were all sitting around the table, and my mom had said something to me 3 or 4 days prior that hurt my feelings a little bit. But the way she said it was so funny that I wasn't the least bit angry at her. But it did. I mean, it was kind of like, dear Lord, my mother. It was kind of one of those moments. And I had told David about it, but it was still kind of sensitive. And at the table in front of our best friends, he says, hey, tell them what your mom said the other day. And I said, no, this was a sensitive issue. I didn't want to. He said, oh, tell them. And they're our best friends. So immediately they're like, oh my gosh, you've got to tell us. And he goes, besides, it wasn't even you. It's funny about your mother, just how she is. And I told. And instantly I regretted it because it was sensitive to me. My mother was pointing out one of my flaws, and it was sensitive to me. Now, they busted a gut. They were laughing. David was laughing. But the next day I wake up, and here's what I say. And these are these breadcrumbs, right, that you were talking about, leaving breadcrumbs. Here's what I said. I'm mad at myself. And what'd you say?
What are you mad at yourself for?
I shouldn't have told them last night what my mother said. I shouldn't have told them. It made me self-conscious the rest of the night. It made me feel insecure. That is a sensitive issue. My mom was kind of tapping on it, not wanting to hurt me. So I feel like I put her in a bad light and I exposed something of myself. And what did you say?
Maybe that's not your fault. That is completely my fault.
No, I'm the one that said it.
No, but it didn't even cross my mind that would make you feel uncomfortable, that would make you feel insecure about something. I never should have brought it up. And when you said no, I should have even at that point read in and tried to deflect and go somewhere else.
Okay, now I want you to stop. That is exactly how the conversation went. But in all seriousness, I want to show you what it would have been like 30 years ago. We would wake up the next morning and I would have been like, why did you freaking make me say that at the table last night? Why did you make me say that?
What are you even talking about?
That thing that my mother said to me. You brought it up in front of them. I don't know why you do stuff like this.
Oh my Lord, get over it. I was just being funny and sarcastic. They know you. They love you. You know you shouldn't be sensitive at it. Just get over it.
That's how it would have gone. This has not developed differently because we've become professionals at this, or we should be counselors to the broken and the downhearted. It's become like that because of this. We've been lifting weights. We've been strength training.
Can I also say why?
Of course.
If you keep ending up in the ditch and you have broke your tire and you broke your axle and you're like, how did I get here? I was driving too fast and it was raining. you stop and slow down when it's raining next time. You pay more attention. So we have driven ourselves in the ditch relationally so many times. Part of it is a strength of working on it. Part of it is just, that's not fun. That sucks. That's tense. Sometimes it hurts her more. Sometimes it hurts me more. Let's stay on the road. What do we do to stay on the road? And so sometimes the bad stuff we do or have done can be a good motivation going forward to not end up in the ditch again. Don't get me wrong. You're going to end up in the ditch again at some point, but how often on one trip do you need to?
That's exactly right. David, there's a quote, a saying that came up several years ago. I don't know who started it. I don't know who started this quote, but
there's a high probability it was me.
No doubt. David came up with the phrase social distancing, everybody. I don't know who first said this, but it was like a light bulb for me. And it's this right here. And you've probably said it in your own marriage. Is this really a mountain you want to die on? I can tell you this. I've said it in my parenting a time or 40, but I've also begun to say it in my marriage. Hey, I know that what he just did makes me want to claw my skin off of my face, but is this really a mountain I want to die on? Is really, like, if David Radke and I are going to go down in flames and people are going to have to talk about it on the internet. Did y'all know that the Radkes are splitting up? Is this really the mountain that I want to die on? And 9.5 times out of 10, it's not. It's not. I say that to myself a lot. Do you ever say that? When you're interacting with me, because I'm no peach, okay? Do you say things like that to yourself? Do you have little things you say?
Well, I think my terminology is, it's kind of what we all probably were given advice before we got married. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of goes along that line where I stop. And, it's hard to do in the moment, depending on how significant the issue is, because your blood pressure rises and your emotions rise, all this kind of stuff. But I try to slow down and go, do I really think this is going to frustrate me in 24 hours? Or am I going to forget about it 9 times out of 10? And maybe it's my ignorance. Maybe it's a protection thing. I won't even remember, even if it was something that kind of hurt, unless it's real significant. And so I tried to just slow down and go, is it really worth that? Because, man, arguing the rest of the day or, fussing this, that, or the other, it's just not worth it to sweat the small stuff.
If you are not going to remember it in 5 years, do not spend 5 minutes on it. If you are not going to remember it in 5 years, don't spend 5 minutes on it. That is truth and that works. And my counselor told me that, and I have held fast to that. Look, I'm telling you guys right now, I can't tell you a fight we had 5 years ago because most of them did not matter. Now, after the break that David takes us to, we're going to talk about some areas that did hurt. And they are those moments when the bottom fell out. And that those are normal. Those happen in a marriage. But so many times, if you're not going to remember it in 5 years, don't waste 5 minutes.
I could even say 5 months.
For real.
Because like you said, there's very, very little we're going to remember 5 years later.
Uh-huh.
But you could even say 5 months or 5 days.
For real.
And sometimes, especially when we were newly married, 5 minutes. Because it was just something that was so silly and insignificant.
Embarrassing.
And when the next television show came on or we had to run to the store, it would be gone at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it just really kind of take into perspective that it's just that brief moment in time and how's it going to affect you beyond that. But we're so excited to be talking about this. We love getting to share when our marriage and hopefully show you where a couple of potholes that we have ended up in a few times can help you. Stay with us. We've got a lot more right after this quick break.
Hey y'all, it's Melissa. If you like what you hear on the Radke Show podcast, then you'll love what's happening over on my Substack, Stretch Marks. It's where I tell the stories I'm not ready to say out loud yet. You'll get my weekly letters, my daily voice memos, and the kind of community that feels like girlfriends around queso with Diet Coke. Come join us, melissaradke.substack.com, and bring your stretch marks too. We wear them proud. Okay, I want to give another example of an argument that David and I recently had, and we're going to reenact it for y'all. And this is the argument, and I want y'all to see how it panned out, okay? This is the argument that we had pulling into the school parking lot in your truck the other day. Okay. I'm driving. I have to drop him off in the school parking lot so he can get Rocco's truck. I'm driving into the school parking lot. There are kids that probably should be in class, but they're out at their cars and the car is backing out.
Hey, Melissa, be careful of that truck coming out. Melissa, be careful of the truck coming out.
David, I literally thought you were talking about this truck right here, and I noticed it wasn't moving, so I thought it was stopping for me.
Yeah, it's not the car that's parked.
I didn't know that. I could not see past that car. Why do you never have grace? I swear you never, ever, ever have grace. You're always pointing something out about my driving.
I am trying to save a child's life.
Oh my gosh, the only child that is out here is him, and we've known him since he was in kindergarten, and his parents would probably like us to break his kneecaps.
So he doesn't deserve to live? Okay, that wasn't part of it.
He gets out of the car. He slams the door. He gets into Rocco's truck. He slams that door. We don't even say goodbye to each other. I get halfway down the road and I text him. Oh my gosh, I just heard the greatest worship song. Listen to this. He writes back, ooh, that's a good one. If it isn't going to matter in 5 years or 5 months, don't linger on it for 5 minutes. Don't. Let it go. Is that the hill that we were going to die on? You know, I hear
not us, maybe the child, but not us.
I hear celebrities all the time. They file for divorce, and the reason why they file for divorce in the divorce papers, they put irreconcilable differences. How many times have you heard that? That's because they don't want to write down he left a wet towel on the floor for the very last time. Okay? They don't want to write down because sometimes it isn't a hill that they should die on. But they have not practiced the weightlifting of everyday grace and of everyday forgiveness. So, David, you and I have been raised in church. We know what scripture says about forgiveness. When the bottom has fallen out for us, and for those of you who are being nosy right now and you want, how did it fall out? Well, get my books, read them. One of the ways that our marriage fell out, the bottom fell out of our marriage, was probably about 15 years ago when David refers to it as his first marriage. And I refer to it as my first marriage because the first 15 years of our marriage were not happy. I was not an attentive wife. I was a very, very, very selfish woman. And David was not always an attentive husband. He was selfish in his own ways. And so we call that our first marriage. And the bottom fell out in a really disastrous, painful way. And we both had so much forgiving to do. How did we go about that as believers? Because we are believers, but we are not walk around like Jesus holy all the time. We trip and fall and mess up. So talk to them today about how we do that as believers. Like, what is the truth that we stand on?
Well, for us in that situation, there was a little bit of counseling. We had done a lot of counseling previously, so we had like tools and strategies and stuff
tool belts are so important
to pull back on. But we did see a counselor a little bit in that time, and it was twofold. I mean, really, the 100% truth is just relying on our faith that God was going to, change me where I needed to be changed, change you where you needed to be changed, and heal this. Because I really don't think in ourselves we would have been able to do that. Now,
I know we wouldn't have.
there may be some people in the world that have gone through horrific things, and we've gone through some terrible things with infertility and loss and finances and businesses and homes and you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Those things can gut you. And we've talked about this before. I think this was one thing that was different in this time that she's referring to. Sometimes we would get hurt and we'd go to our own corners. Like if you're picturing a boxing match or whatever, we'd go to our own corners and try to patch ourselves up and heal and those kind of things. And I don't believe that's ever going to work. There may not, I will say there may be a short season, like there may need to be, okay, let's catch our breath, let our heart rate go down, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not just talking even for an hour or two. Maybe there's a season that you've got to, kind of let things settle down. But when you go through those difficult things, sometimes not even like a lot of those things weren't against us.
Mm-hmm.
We were just in this traumatic thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go to your opposite sides, it just is, it is a recipe to go the wrong path. And end up going, well, it's just irreconcilable.
Well,
instead of doing that together.
And another thing that happens, and I want to give you guys some really practical tools here. Another thing that happens when you go your separate ways to heal and to bemoan what has happened is you can oftentimes step outside of the marriage. And a lot of times when you say things like that, your mind automatically goes to affair. Guys, I am talking about in all of our years we have worked with couples. We have taught Sunday school classes with young married couples. We have coached young married couples. I'm not just talking about affairs, guys. I'm talking about the wife who goes to her girlfriends and talks about him and talks so bad. And then they agree with her and then they hate him. And I noticed he did this. That is not healthy. That is as unhealthy as the man going to work and he ends up talking to his receptionist and he ends up bemoaning to her and she ends up comforting him. The wife is just as guilty. You don't do that. You do this. You don't do that. You do this. If you hurt together, it is important to heal together. Do you want to? No. Does it feel good? No. But I'll tell you, a disaster waiting to happen is the married woman who gets angry at her husband and decides to go out with her single friends. That is a disaster waiting to happen. I'm just telling you it is. Take it from me. It's a disaster. Well, I can live my best life right here. I don't need him right now. Y'all are in it together. From the time that ring goes on, you are in a fight for survival. The culture doesn't want you to stay together. The world does not want you to stay together. Everything in this society today is intent on pulling marriages apart. Fight to stay together. Quit going to your corners and waiting for the bell to ring and then you can go back at it. Go and heal together. Find God together. Pray together. Hold hands. And David and I have held hands and prayed when we wanted to claw each other's eye out. It didn't even appear as if the prayer was authentic, but Christ is authentic. His healing is authentic. And when 2 or 3 are gathered together, he meets you there, whether you even mean it or not, because he's that good. Sorry about that.
That was good.
I began to preach. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You've heard 70 times 7. Did you ever say, well, we're to forgive 70 times 7? And I'm pretty sure I've forgiven Melissa over 490 times. So I get to stop now.
Well, I don't believe that was a hard statistical number. I think it was an example.
Honestly, I think we're going to get to heaven one day and ask God about it and ask Jesus about it. And Jesus is going to be like, I swear, has anybody ever heard of like sarcasm? Like I was just being funny. I mean, in that moment, I said 70 times 7.
I wasn't being literal.
I wasn't being literal. I was just saying over and over and over and over and over.
That's a lot. Yeah. And we had a podcast not too long ago. I think I mentioned this about the survey was done, the people that were married over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing they all had in common was that they just weathered through things.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you mentioned celebrities, and it's not celebrities, it's everybody, but they get to a rough patch. And when I'm saying that, I'm not talking about physical abuse or mental, emotional,
of course,
even stepping out on the marriage. I'm talking about the vast majority of stuff in marriages, the finances, the workload. I mean, everything. People will leave and separate because I can't take that. I can't tolerate that.
Mm-hmm.
But the study was talking about people that have been together 30 years. They just weather those storms, and then they look back and they, like we were talking about, they don't really remember them being as big as they thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the time you're in it, it's just all emotion and everything. And I can't take, them bouncing another check or whatever it is. People still write checks.
I haven't heard the phrase bouncing a check in a long time.
But whatever it is, but if you just take a breath and let some time pass, because if you leave this marriage for irreconcilable differences, chances are you are going to leave the next one, or they're going to leave the next one. It is that commitment of going, sometimes it's going to suck.
That's right.
And being okay with that, because okay, here's this root, these feelings, this connection, this love, this is what we know is real. And even though sometimes we don't feel that, or sometimes we don't remember that, and it's so far in the past, maybe it's like, was that ever there, or my feelings change? That's probably one of my most irritating things to hear, when people goes, I feel out of love. I just don't feel the same. Your emotions lie to you.
Don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of my notes. Don't get ahead of me, because
I'm sorry.
I was just about to tell you, and I want to hold your hand when I say this. We're going to get off of the board for a second. Okay. Okay. We're going to move away from the board for a second. There's two things I want to, before we go to our next break, I want to end with two practical tools that people can use in their marriages today. I know what my tool is that I'm going to tell them about, but the tool that I want you to talk to them about is the tool that Larry taught us, which is this. Okay. Will you talk about how he taught us that and how it has worked in our marriage? Okay. And for those of you who did not see what I did, I just put my hand up like you would tell someone to stop, where you just put your hand up as a sign of stop. David's going to talk to you. It can be anything, of course, but you know how to explain it.
So there is a point in a lot of energized, heated conversations where you are trying to articulate what you're feeling and you're not able to do it well enough. Or maybe whoever you're talking to, they're not hearing it the way you're intending it to, or whatever. And the communication is broke down and the emotions are starting to kind of fly out of control. And sometimes you might feel like I'm about to have a panic attack, or someone thinks I'm about to fly off in a uncontrollable fit of rage.
I'm going to say things I regret.
I'm going to call names and blah, blah. And you get to that point where you start to look internally and go, I can't take anymore. It's about to get a lot worse. Those are the times, so I've laid that out.
100%.
Those are the times that we're allowed to put our hand up. Don't have to say anything. Don't have to say, well, I'm doing this because of this. You just put your hand up, and it's a visible sign to the other one. We got to stop.
But it has to be.
It doesn't mean that this is over. We're not going to discuss it anymore. But at this moment and this time, we have to stop.
But it has to be something that is mutually agreed on. Our marriage counselor told us, I want you both to come up with a sign And I want you to mutually agree. I don't know why this is spazzing out today. I want you to mutually agree on the sign. So I'm going to give you a second. In fact, he goes, I'm going to step out of the room. And he said, my wife and I have done this for years. We have a sign with each other, but I'm going to step out of the room and I'm going to give you both a second. So he steps out of the room and David and I are just sitting there on the couch and we're like, well, what is the sign? I go, I got a sign for you.
Sign
my sign is one finger.
You're number one.
And so we just thought about it for a second. We're like, what? And I remember David saying, what do we, David goes, when I'm about to lose my temper and it's about to go from bad to worse, I just want you to stop, Melissa. And when he put his hand up like this and I went, that's our sign. So this became our sign. Doesn't have to be yours. Doesn't have to be yours. Yours could be touching your nose. Yours could be a word. I don't know. But when Larry came back in, he said, okay, what have y'all decided on? And we said this and we put our hand up and he goes, love it. Perfect. But here's what you just mutually agreed on. When it's up, it's over. You can face it later. You can come back an hour from now. But you don't get to put your hand up and the other person continue screaming, yelling. Oh, you can put your hand up, but I'm going to have my last say. And I would say for the most part, we have respected that. There's a couple of times I've spoken over the hand, but he doesn't respond to me. He just walks away. And I know I'm not going to get anywhere. And there's a couple of times I've held up my hand and he's been like, oh, put your hand down. But I don't talk and I don't go any further. And he knows, well, she was serious about it.
You also have to have the agreement to not use it willy-nilly or inappropriately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching a football game and you come and ask me a question. No, that's not,
no, they don't have.
That's not it. So there has to be that agreement on, you understand it's this level of seriousness, because it's so beneficial when our heart rates start going down, our adrenaline, or I don't know what, cortisol or dopamine, I don't know, all the things that start going down. When you're in that situation, you start to breathe, your mind starts to clear up, that you can start to have a conversation that will hopefully be beneficial. But when you're at that heightened stage, we actually went to a counseling thing, like a couple of day counseling thing, and they used a good analogy about a white sheet. That when you get to that place, imagine just a white sheet drops in front of your face, and you're not seeing anything clearly. You're not being seen clearly.
You can't communicate with anybody. You can't take anything in.
It's just, you're at a point where there's no benefit at that point.
Mm-hmm.
All you're going to do is cause more damage that can be avoided. And it just has really been a benefit to us, because sometimes when we calm down, we'll go back and go, I'm sorry, that was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much more of a discussion. Sometimes it's been a bigger thing, and we're going to have probably a few discussions about something, but we're in a place where we can have a more productive conversation by just letting some stress and tension out. And
that's right.
And sometimes that's, walking around the house, or I'm going to run to the gym real quick, or just whatever you have to do. But it's been a really good
tool. I want to, before we get a break, I want to tell you about one more tool. As you all know, I've said this before, I'm big on journaling. I've now moved to, a lot of times I'll journal on my phone, in the notes section of my phone. You'll just, I guess when I die and somebody grabs my phone, they're just going to see a lot of things in my notes section. But I'm big on words and I like to write down my feelings. One of the things I've gotten in the habit of doing is writing a particular sentence. I will write, when it comes to blank, and it comes to blank, I feel blank. When it comes to our finances and David, I feel angry and defeated, and like he doesn't listen to anything I suggest. There's something I've put. When it comes to agreeing on how to discipline Rocco and David, I feel like he doesn't listen to me. And I feel like him and Rocco have this agreement together and I'm excluded. When it comes to how I feel about David right now, I feel angry and I feel like he doesn't love me. And whatever I write down, after I've written it down, I look at it and I know it's a lie. Because anytime you begin with, I feel, it's a lie. So whatever this, I try to make sure I know what the situation is. I try to make sure I know it's about David, although there have been many times I've been like, when it comes to communication and my mother, I feel like she does not listen to me. She just wants to get her point across. Okay. So it can be anybody. It can be your boss. It can be anybody, but most often it's my best friend over here. I will say what the situation is. I will say who I'm dealing with, and I will say how I feel. And then I know it's a lie because your feelings are not real. They are not real. The experience is real, but how you feel is a lie. And your feelings will always follow your actions. I'm going to say that again. Your feelings will always follow your actions. Actions work. Feelings lie. I don't go to the gym because I feel like it, but after I go to the gym, I feel good. Okay? I don't make up with David because I feel like it, but after I make up with David, I feel so much better. I don't forgive David because I feel like it, but when I forgive David, I am so much better for it. Your feelings lie, but they will follow your actions. So act appropriately. Name what the feelings are and then call them out as being a lie. Hand them to Jesus. Hand them over to the great counselor, the wonderful physician, and say, these are lies that I'm dealing with. They are not real. Show me how I can act in a way that my feelings will follow. And his answer will always be, love like I loved, forgive like I live, forgive like I forgave, grace like I give grace, right? So that's another really applicable tool that you can use. Write out what those feelings are, name them, then look at them and call them lies because they are. And then do the thing that's hard and watch your feelings follow. We love you guys. We only want what is best for your marriage, whether you're in the second year or the 42nd year. We love you. We'll be back right after this. Hey guys, quick break from the show, but this is important. If you're loving these conversations, then Stretch Marks is where you need to be. That's where I share the stuff I don't always say out loud. Stories, voice notes, confessions, even a little advice now and then. It's real, it's honest, and it's waiting for you. Go to melissaradke.substack.com and join us. We're building something beautiful over there, and I want you in it. Oh, Lord, I'm scared. I always do this part. I always do this section of something fun. Well, I'm the fun one in our marriage. And now he's like, I got one today. Oh, Lord. Okay.
I've only done this one other time and you chastise me. But
I feel chastised. Well, that's a lie. Okay, go ahead. What are we doing?
All right. This game is called Forgive or Forget. You'll see this coming up on the next channel that has been started for dysfunctional marriages.
Oh, hey, that would be a hilarious channel, actually.
This I really should have those things thought out before I just start.
You, baby, it's your ADHD, but I love it.
Okay, this is Forgive or Forget. I'm going to ask Melissa a question or give her a circumstance, I guess, and ask her if she's going to forgive me or forget it.
Are they real life?
Some of them, most of them.
Okay.
Okay. Forgive or forget when I leave wet towels on the bed.
Well, I've had to just get over it, haven't I? I've had to just get over it. So for every I've had to forget about it. I've just decided on a hill I want to die on. For every wet towel that you leave on the bed, I leave a whole load of wet towels in the washer machine for 4 days. Mm-hmm. And then you got to smell like mildew when you dry yourself off. So I'm getting back at him. I got ways. Forget.
You were very aggressive in that answer for the limited number of times I leave a wet towel on the bed.
There's one on there right now.
It ain't mine then.
Boy, I saw you take it off. Okay, go.
All right, the next one. When I fill up the bench in our room with clothes and I won't hang them up.
Do you do that very often? I guess the best way to say that is this.
I've only really done it once.
What, hung them up really once?
I've only done it once from the beginning of time until now.
I was going to say, is there a bench in our room? Because I ain't seen it in about 9 years.
I do have a bad habit.
It just drives me crazy.
There's a little bench normally at the foot of the bed, but it's up against the wall close to my closet. And I tend to, at the end of the day, lay my clothes there and then they end up staying.
It drives me crazy, especially like when our room is looking really good and vacuumed and smelling good and the bed's all made and everything. And then you look over there, but like he knows it bothers me. He does put them up occasionally and I ain't going to court over that. So, okay.
And you've also seen the floor of your closet.
Forget.
All right. When I can see the dishes, but I don't touch the dish. I used to have a great excuse because that was Remy's chore. That was what she had to do, was load and unwash the dishwasher. That's it. And so I used to be able to kind of go, well, I thought we wanted Remy to do it. I thought she wanted to be responsible. But she's not here now. And I gotta flip the script.
It bothers me. I'm not gonna lie. That bothers me because I cook and he's supposed to clean up after if I cook, he cleans, but he just sits them in the sink. He doesn't do anything with them. He just sits them in the sink. Well, I just want you to know, an idiot could sit them in the sink. A mule could come in here and just push them over in the sink, right? We could get a monkey to do that. So that one bothers me.
So
I'm going to have
Rocco do it.
I'm going to have to forgive you because I love you, but it bothers me.
What about when we hurt each other with words?
Dang, Dave. You're kind of going deep here. I have learned to forgive that. I think that's going to be one of the tougher things in marriages is words. Words, they imprint on you. They just do. They tattoo you up. There are things that you have said to me that are still tattooed on me. By the grace of God, I have forgiven you. And also through I believe my depth and my faith, they don't, what am I trying to say? They don't.
The same impact.
For sure. But just the same with you. I've said things to you that you could recall today. You know what I'm saying? Words hurt. Be careful what you say.
Yeah. You definitely can't forget it.
Mm-hmm.
But you
can forgive it for sure.
So, you want to do a couple?
Okay. You wrote these. Okay. When we sleep in separate rooms. What? I don't think we've ever done that.
Forget.
Have you ever?
If we've ever slept in separate rooms.
It was because we had a sick kid in the bed.
Evidently, I forgot it because I don't.
I do not know why. But from the very beginning, David and I said we were not going to do that. We have slept in bed before together where our bodies will not touch each other. If my foot even brushes his foot, I won't throw up. But we don't sleep in separate rooms. I don't think I've ever remembered a time when you slept on the couch.
I don't believe so. The couple of times, like you said, maybe we had a sick kid. I think where that comes from, though, don't let the sun go down on your anger. I think it kind of comes from that.
No, it doesn't. Because remember what our marriage counselor said?
I know, but I'm saying I think that's why in our mind we're like, no, we're not going to do that. We'll sleep on the very edge and almost fall off, but we're not going to do that. But what our marriage counselor said, and it's tough because I'm not wanting to disagree with scripture, but maybe there's a little more
context that we're not putting in when who wrote that?
Put with it at 3:00 in the morning when you have been yelling and screaming since 10:15. The sun's already gone down on your anger. First of all, it's dark outside, but again, that kind of goes back to what we're talking about. Just time to let it.
But do you really think he used to say to us, y'all were up until what time? Well, we've been screaming about this since 2 a.m. You think you're going to get anything settled at 2 a.m.? What are you thinking? Go to bed. Whoever wrote, well, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. I have a hard time believing was married. And I don't really know the context in which that was written, but for the betterment of our health, we let it go down. Okay. David, I don't understand this. It says sometimes I will get mad and refuse to go somewhere with you. You do that to me. You will say, you have gotten mad before and be like, you know what? I'm not even going out with your parents. You could just go by yourself, or I hate that. You haven't done it in years, but I hate that.
The only time I can think about that is if you are like in a volatile state. I'm like, she needs to be putting up her hand and she isn't. I'm not going to go in public and let her do her things.
When we disagree on parenting.
That's going to be a forget, I guess, because number one, I don't feel like we do a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. But we have before.
Well, we have, but we haven't a whole lot. So it's not like one of the real tense issues of just going, okay,
yeah,
you win this one.
I don't think y'all know this, but he's got, when we blow our top and lash out, I don't think y'all know this, but you could probably think that I have a bad temper, and I do. Tell him about yours. Tell him about your temper.
You do have a bad temper, and I did have a bad temper.
Don't do that.
I have had in the past.
He's kind of mellowed out of it.
I have had in the past. Younger was worse. A volatile temper, and you know, I've worked through this even personally, because a lot of times I will just shove stuff down and shove it down, and so it's just building up, and then it finally just
like GERD.
It just like it explodes. But I like to think that's been a pretty good while.
It has. You kind of mellowed with age. And then the last one you have is fighting about money. Well, we're still married, so I guess he's forgotten. I guess he's forgiven and forgotten. I don't think you've forgotten.
Forgive again.
Oh, me too. Okay, you guys. Hey, I love talking about marriage with y'all. If you have anything that you want to discuss, let us know. Not every episode will be serious like this, but if it's important to us, we hope it's important to you, because you're important to us. Make sure that you're watching and subscribing and giving us a great review. We need to get in the habit of coming on here and sharing a review that we read. That would be good. Mm-hmm. So if you want to hear your name on here, give us a great review and we'll be sure and read it. Okay. So I guess I will see you when I'm back in town. I got to go. I'm in California. I got to go put avocado on something. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Radke Show. We're going to end now so that you can go and love on your people. Till next time.